Hi everyone, Lolly here and welcome to my channel and welcome to See You on the Flip Side. This is the final episode of this little short series on doing this, altering this composition book. And the fun part about this book is that instead of turning it over from one side to the other, when you flip it from one side to the other, then you have two different books. And so that's what we have done here. In my book, I have one side that's a little bit of a kind of a retro, I guess it's vintage, because it's older kind of look, but I think that it's actually more of a retro with the orange and greens. And then I have the other side, which is more of a Victorian type style. So what I've done here is take some trim that I have and I've cut it down. And I've lined both edges of the book with it. And now I'm putting a nameplate or book plate on the front here. And so everything I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other side. So here I'm just poking the holes with my awl there and putting these little tiny brads in that I have. And then even though they come through on the other side, I am going to cover those with a piece of paper in a little while, just so they're not sharp. So on this side, I put a bright, pretty gold one. And then on this side, I'm going to put the more of the antique brass color. And then that will just allow me to put a little tag in there to give it a title. And I'm just going to put some glue down just to hold it while I poke the holes and get the brad set in there. All right. And there it is. There's the flip side. All right. So at this point, I'm just going in and I'm going to start adding stickers and kind of just embellishing the inside a little bit. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this book yet, but I have an idea that it's just going to be my idea book. And so it will just be filled with things that I've jotted down, or if I wanted to sketch something really quick just to kind of reference it later. So that's kind of what I have in mind for it. And these are chipboard quotes, Tim Holtz. And so I'm going through there looking for small ones. I don't really have too many small ones left. And this one says, J. Truffet. I don't even know how to say that. But it means an object found or picked up at random and considered aesthetically pleasing. So I would have said objet trouvé, but it's pronounced objet trouvé. Beautiful word. I'm sorry that I made a mess of it. But I thought that that was so fitting for, and I guess Tim Holtz did too, and that's why he put it in that set. But an object found or picked up at random and considered aesthetically pleasing. I thought that was really pretty. So, all right, so we're going to put book plate on one side and then on the other side. And I have to look again to see what the other side says. So on the gold plate, it says, and then ... and then I put this life, because life, right? It's a handful. It's great, but it's a handful sometimes. All right. So again, just making some finishing touches. I'm trimming this paper back a little bit so that it closes easier. If you don't put your paper all the way up to where it folds, then that makes it easier on your book and it'll close without having all that bulk in there. This was a really fun project and I had so much fun working on it. So here we go. We have both titles on both sides. And here I was trying to show you the definition, but I don't know if you can see it because of the glare. All right, so now we're going to start putting in pockets. And again, I don't know exactly how many I'm going to need, and those are things you can always add later, but I just wanted to give you here an idea. And so I'm just taking scrap pieces of paper, inking around the edges on this side because it's the more vintage Victorian kind of look. And so this is going to be a deep pocket, and that's because I think that when I find an image in a magazine maybe or something like that, I could tuck it down in this pocket. And this little tab is just strictly for looks, just for a little added layer to put something up there at the top, maybe like a little index card look. And then I'm going to just embellish it just by layering different pieces of paper and stickers that I have. And so your pockets can be big all across the paper like this so that you can put big items in there, or you'll see in a bit we're going to do small ones as well, and little tuck spots. But I always like to have a few of the big pockets because for me this kind of book just means I'm going to drag it around and I'm going to stuff it full of all kinds of goodies. So I just want to have big pockets. All right, so my favorite part is just to flip this back and forth over and over and make sure that I've done everything on one side and I'm doing on the other side as well. So they don't have to be identical, but I'm trying to get the same kind of elements on both sides. Now, depending on what each side of the book turns out to be used for, will determine if I put more pockets or more belly bands or you know, that type of thing in there, more tuck spots, or maybe not anything, or maybe some blank pages if I want to put those on there. So I'm just comparing. So I have one big pocket on one side, on the little retro side I'm calling it, and then putting the little tab on there to match. So I'm digging through my stash over here and I find this page, and it's just got, you know, the little journal cards on there. So I'm going to use this for a little tuck spot. So cut up your papers, your index cards. You know, the ideas are absolutely endless for what you can use as a pocket or a tuck spot. If you don't have any scrapbook paper, you can use another sheet of regular paper, or the macaroni and cheese box, you can cut that into a pocket and put that on there. Index cards, flashcards, you name it. So this is the part, not that all of it isn't, but this is where you can definitely make it your own, and your pockets can be as elaborate or as plain as you'd like for them to be, and how they're going to either be practical or they're just going to be beautiful, and you can put pieces of cloth on there. You know, just depends on how chunky you want your book to be in the end, but your belly bands and your pockets can just be embellished in the style that you like. And a belly band, of course, is just a strip of paper or fabric that you can put glue on each end and leave the middle open so that you can tuck something down in there. So just something a little bit different than a pocket. And you can put it either vertically or horizontal on your page, depending on what you want to put in there. And here again, I've just cut a piece of paper and I've inked it. And important for a composition book, you want to get that side that's in the binding really flat. And so here I've made a belly band instead of a pocket so that your book opens more easily without all that bulk in there. And I'm using hot glue. Tape is normally easier, but I like for it to dry. You could use glue. Tape sometimes if you make a pocket, if you put paper down in there and it hasn't stuck to everything, your paper could get stuck to it. So I try to use some kind of glue. And for me, hot glue, it dries instantly. And I don't have to worry about something sticking when I put it down in there. Here I just took a piece of paper that I had that was in that scrapbook book pack, and I just cut one of the pictures out of it instead of using another sticker. So cut up your pages, find the images that are in your pages that you have, and use those for embellishments. Instead of just looking at it as one whole piece of paper, look at it and how you could cut it up and use the elements within the picture. So in my pocket here, I gave it kind of a little angle at the top, and I'm going to put this little belly band on the pocket. So just either as a little decoration, or if you have something small you want to tuck there in front of the pocket, it's just a little extra. And then didn't know what else to do with that little piece of paper, so I put it over there and I made a little tuck spot out of it. All right, so again, when you put your pockets in, you can layer them and start to embellish them. You can use lace, flowers, anything that you want to embellish your pockets with. Just remember, a composition book lays a little bit different than our usual junk journals that we know are going to be bulky and have a lot inside of it. But a composition book, you can do it that way, but it won't lay quite the same as what we're used to in our junk journals. So I had a piece of paper that I had run through the embossing machine, and I just laid that in the middle of my belly band. So it's just a starting spot, right? So as I use this book and I want to add something to it, I did go in here one night and just add some stickers to it and just start to fill it in. Sorry. And so these were just like travel stickers, and I just wanted to put something there on that orange and kind of give it a little bit of something, a little extra. So I just added those stickers on there. And again, once I folded that over that you saw in the beginning, that makes a pocket there in the front. Instead of trimming it, and there are some composition books, and when I alter them, I do trim the cover all the way around. But sometimes I like to just fold it over, and then it just makes a pocket, and then I haven't wasted that little piece of paper. So here I'm just getting out the stickers, and I want to just start adding a little bit here and there on the pocket. So I've also made, the little trim across here. And again, I'm going through scrapbook papers here that I don't normally use, but I'm just finding bits that I can use for these little belly bands or an extra little embellishment. And I'm going to flip it over and check through this side, and I'm going to do kind of the same things. Now this side, I'm inking this paper, even though I love it. It's, the Victorian flowers and all that. It's still a little bit pink. So like I did in the cover, I am kind of inking up those. All right, so now we have everything done for the basics, right? And this has been so fun to do, but I think now we need a closure. We need some way to tie it shut. A lot of times on my junk journals, I will put a little metal handle, but the composition cardboard is not really that thick, and I don't think that I want to put that on here. But I do like looking at it here, that I can see not only the yellow trim, but I can see the trim from the other side. There, I put a dot of glue behind each little pom-pom there so that it would stay there, so I could see it right here, but also when I flipped it over on the other side. I love all the tabs that are in there. We've added pockets on both sides, and so here we are. And so it's just time to make a closure for it. But fill your book as full as you would like it, with pockets and belly bands and tuck spots and all of those types of things. For me, I'm just going to do something simple, and I am going to punch a hole here on both sides. Just trying to get it even and not punch through anything on the other side. And so I'm just measuring here to get them pretty close to the same spot on each side. And these again are those fabrics that I have in that rag rug that I washed. And so I have the kind of the wine colored one to match the Victorian side. And then I got a bright yellow to match the other side. And so that way, no matter which way I turn it, it's going to match the side that I'm looking at. And I was okay that they were two different colors. So if you just feed it through here and make a loop, and then I just realized I wanted to put it the other direction. So I'm going to turn it around and just going to make a loop, feed the tails through there, and then we have the closure for one side. And this way I don't have to tie it shut if I don't want to, or if I want to close it up, then it's just a quick little tie and there's nothing too elaborate. So that about wraps up this book. I hope that you are making one of your own. It is so fun. And if you want to post a video and use the hashtag, see you on the flip side so that I can see it, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under the same name, Scrappy Lolly Paper Company. And if you like the video, I would appreciate it if you would like it and subscribe. And thank you for joining me. This has been a really fun project. Can't wait to fill this little book up and see what I end up using it for. And I'm just thrilled to get to have it. So I'm so happy that I saw the idea and was inspired to make one of my own. So anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope that you have made a book of your own or it inspired you to make something like it. And I will see you guys in the next video.